Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week, I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. This month, I'm going to be dedicating each and every episode to my beautiful dog, Maisie, who passed away a month ago. She was my self-care ambassador for my business, but also on every single podcast for the last 52 episodes. She has been right by my side for each and every episode I've recorded and with all of my guests. And one thing I've learned about love and unconditional love is something that Maisie showed me. She showed up every day for me. It didn't matter what I was doing, how I looked, how I felt. That beautiful dog was just my best mate, and she was always there. And it has led me in these last 4 weeks to a journey of healing, discovering more about myself, learning how to process my feelings through grief, but also just learn more about myself. And this dedication is for you, Maisie, and this month, every episode is about healing, about spirituality, and about anything that I think that my girl would like you to hear. So, sending big love to my Maisie. I miss you a lot, and these episodes are just for you. Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. I have Josephine Sartor here, and she is a psychic medium based here in the Illawarra, New South Wales. Hello, Josephine.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this podcast and for giving me the chance to share my abilities, okay, and my story and my journey with the listeners, okay? That's very, very good for me.
I think people are really going to enjoy this today. So can you, being a psychic medium, can you share with my listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Okay, so I've been a psychic medium professionally for about the last 26 years. I found that I had this ability as a young child, but I didn't understand what it was all about. So at 9 or 10 years old, you don't know this stuff, okay, because you're a child. You just think it's natural. But as I got into my teenage years, around the 12, 13, 14 mark, I started telling my high school friends different things that were going to happen just by seeing things around them. And I got into trouble for that because they were starting to happen. Oh. Yes. So it led to a very lonely life in high school where I didn't have many friends. And this is where I left. I left at the age of 14 and a half. I left. In those days, you could have. So I left at 14 and a half or 14, 9 months, around that age. And I decided to work. And then after that, I thought I want to save. I'm a bit of a traveller. And after that, when I was working one day, this lady came into this shop and she said, "Oh, do you believe in spirituality?" I said, "Yes." We got chatting and she told me about this medium who lived locally in the Illawarra. So she gave me her number. I made a booking with her and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go. I cancelled 3 days before. I got frightened.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
I did. I got frightened because I thought, I just thought, she's very upfront. This woman had told me she's very, very upfront. And I thought, I don't want to hear the truth.
Okay.
So I cancelled it. And then about 3-4 months later, I called her again. And this lady said to me, the medium, she said, I knew you'd come back. I knew you're coming back. So I caught 2 buses, went to her place. She was reading from home. I knocked on her front door and this woman looked at me. She opened the door. She said, "Hello, Josephine." She said, "You can do what I can do. Come in." I sat down and virtually the reading was about this gift that I had. She told me I had a gift ever since I was born. And she said, "You can do what I can do. Connect with spirit. I can train you or mentor you. I can show you what to do." I says, "Oh, no, I don't know." I wasn't ready for it. I was scared.
Yeah, how did you feel in that moment when that's a lot. How old were you in that time?
17.
It's a lot for a 17-year-old girl to take on.
Yeah, it was very confronting. She told me to stop being scared. But you know what I did? I did listen to her and I went back a month later and we were just meditating. All she was doing was showing me how to meditate. Whoever came through, what did they look like? What's the first thing the person showed me? Who are they? Who are they connected with? So that's what we started to do. So I had to practice on that continually. Then I decided to go overseas. Even though I was practicing with some friends, it was a nightmare.
And what was it like? I'm interested to know, what was it like back then? Because now I find that it is becoming a bit more of a, like, meditation and all that kind of stuff is becoming a bit spirituality, but a bit more popular. It's a bit more okay to talk about.
Yes.
How was it back then?
Well, I'm going back 44 years ago.
Yeah.
And of course, you never spoke about this. You would never tell anyone that you've been to a fortune teller, or whatever they used to call them back then, which was a fortune teller.
Okay.
And they were classed as evil. So I never told anybody that I'd gone, except maybe one friend, which was very spiritual like me, and we're still friends now. Yeah. So I grew up with her. And I just had to keep all this to myself because they thought that it was a witchy thing. But I'm glad that I did go. I'm glad I did go. But you couldn't discuss this with anyone because it wasn't accepted, okay? And it was very much religion-based, and you were dealing with bad stuff. So I just had to I suppressed all this inside of me when all I was trying to do was trying to help people.
Yeah, because I'm going to say something, and it's almost like a blessing and a curse that you've got this. I mean, do you see this, your abilities? We'll talk about your abilities in a moment, but do you see what you do as a gift?
Yes. So that's something that's actually a good question, because a lot of people have asked me, do you consider this, is this a gift that you've got, or you've got this gift? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I know some people will disagree. I believe it's a gift. I believe you're born with it, or it's been genetically passed on by someone, okay, that was in the family, whether it was a great-grandmother or someone before her, or your mum, or your other grandmother, or your auntie. I believe it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a natural ability. So I'm going to give you an example. People say, oh, you're this psychic. We are all born psychic. So you're psychic, I'm psychic. I hate that word psychic, actually. Okay.
Well, do you know what, when people say that, what is psychic abilities?
It makes me feel, psychic abilities are like, when you meet somebody, whether you like them or not.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then something, I'm not feeling well, I feel I've got diabetes, and you're right. And the doctor's telling you, no, it's not, you've got something else. And inside, it's your gut feeling. I call this intuition. So we're all born intuitive. But connecting with the spirit world, okay, it takes years. You can get it naturally. It takes years for the confidence, for trusting, loyalty, discipline, okay, and then the reality of it and being devoted. It's not about the ego. It's not about, I'm this great medium. It's not about that. It's about you devoting your time and your life to the spirit world. And it's a very nice thing to do because it's beautiful and it brings comfort. So all I do is bring them in, deliver the messages, or connect with people that have passed over, and I deliver those messages, and that is the work of a medium. Okay?
Medium.
It's not about saying, you're going to meet this guy and get married in 10 days. It's not about that. Mediumship is completely different to clairvoyancy. Okay? So clairvoyancy, psychic is very, very virtually the same.
Okay, and that's when you feel things and you know things.
Well, a clairvoyant has different senses. So we see, we feel, we smell, touch, all those senses. All right, so this is clairvoyant. So when I say if a spirit is coming through clairvoyantly, okay, I connect with them, and then I could see they had one eye different to another. Or clairvoyantly, I could see that there's a baby coming. I could see a baby around you. That's clairvoyancy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the spirits pass through and I ask them for evidence, because I feel evidence is very important, they could have been a drinker. So I'm actually tasting or smelling the alcohol around them.
Wow.
Or they could show me that what sort of career they were involved with. So I might hear a hammer. He could have been a carpenter.
Yeah.
So your father might have come through, your grandfather might have come through, your uncle might have come through, and they show me that they worked with their hands. So I telepathically ask them, can you give me a sign or some proof that I'm connecting with the right person to the person in front of me? And they say yes. So I deliver that message. Okay, so I will say, was this man a carpenter? I see a hammer. I see him working around homes. And you'll say, yes, that was my dad. He was a carpenter. Or did your father have his leg amputated? Because I could see a leg that was amputated. There you go. So it's the evidence that's very important.
So when you see the stuff, when you see, you said that you see the hammer, you see this, or you taste this, or you smell this, are any of those abilities for you one stronger than the other, or does it depend who you're reading for?
It depends. Look, I might get more out of the spirit from you than somebody else.
Right.
Okay? It just depends on the spirit and how much they want to give me, because I have no control.
Yeah.
The only thing I have control is how long they want to be. So he might say, look, I've got to get the information very, very quickly. All right, so I'll give you an example. I had a lady that came here for a reading, and I mentioned to her mother came through very strongly. I said, your father was the first person that walked in. She said, I never liked my dad. I said, well, too bad, because he's here. Okay, he's here. Well, I don't want him. I said, and he was an alcoholic. And she said, you're goddamn right. And I said, I can smell the alcohol, and he's telling me hello. She said, well, I don't want to say hello to him. I said, don't argue with me, I'm the meat and sandwich. So anyway, then the mother steps in. So I see this woman coming through me, and she was a gentle soul. And the first thing that I was telling her about her mother, complete opposite to her dad, and she was nodding her head. Now, they were very simple things. But then I said something to her, and I said, your mother, the song is that I'm hearing, and it's beautiful, somewhere over the rainbow. She goes, what did you just say? I said, somewhere over the rainbow. She goes, and she burst into tears. She said, that was my mother's funeral song. Your mother was telling me that. Now, out of all the songs in the world, that was the song I was hearing. So that was evidence to me that her mother was here. I was connecting with her mother. And that's what she said, yes.
And that's the medium side,
that's
right?
That's the medium side. So the medium is connecting, is delivering the messages, right?
Yeah.
That she is getting from the spirit world. Now, sometimes there is disappointment, because you could come for a reading and I may not be able to connect, because if people don't want to come, now I am talking about my experiences, so every medium has different connections.
Sure.
Okay? You might want your friend to come through. She may not come through. Why? I don't know. And it could have been a great aunt that you'd never met that wants to come through. So there is sometimes disappointment, but it is out of my control. I have no control who comes through.
You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, but like I said, it took me 20 years of confidence, practicing and making sure and believing in myself, because I was very scared. You must remember, Barbara, and all the listeners that are listening, you are playing with people's minds. And people are, they're putting their trust in you, and they want you to help them. Sometimes I can't help them.
Yeah.
And it's not because I can't help them. It's because they don't want to hear what I have to say. Okay, the truth is the hardest thing to accept in life. And some people just don't want to change.
Yeah. And I think too, like obviously I own a counselling practice, and you do what you do. And I think the crossover here a little bit is I see people at their most vulnerable. Yes. And I think a lot of people come to you with fertility issues, with relationship issues, especially around death, wanting to connect with people. And anyone listening to this, you're on this podcast platform because I talk about things as they are. I'm very authentic and real and say it how it is. And that's why I've got Josephine on here too. And I want you to, it's not about religion or anything like that. It's about people wanting closure, people wanting to, if you've ever had anyone pass, that connection. Are you okay? Are you safe? Or anything to do with big decisions in life. I think that people would come to you, wouldn't they?
Yes. Well, a lot of the times, if they want a mediumship reading, they'll come to me because someone has passed. Now, I ask questions before because I can hear by the tone in their voice when they're talking to me over the phone, they're not ready. Okay? So I say, darling, you're not ready. You've just lost someone. No, I'm not. They start to cry. So I say, look, no good coming to me. You're going to waste your time. It's not worth it. Give yourself 12 to 18 months and you may never be ready. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I'd rather be honest than disappoint.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got to make sure, because at the time when someone's down, they're going to believe. I mean, you catch them at their vulnerable time, of course they're going to believe whatever you say. And I don't want that. When you come for a reading, you have to come, be opened, be relaxed, and be prepared to hear the truth. Because if you're not, don't come.
Yeah. And your style of reading is that you want to see someone once and that's pretty much it. You want to set them up and you don't want to see them again and again and again, because it can be something, I would imagine for some people, is as human beings, we're conditioned to want certainty. We actually want to know, am I going to have the child meet the man, or am I going to meet the woman, or am I going to live, whatever it is.
Be rich, be healthy.
We all are, and especially now the last few years, we are all hanging on for dear life.
Yes.
I'm hanging on for dear life.
Jesus, God help me. But you know what? Okay. Everybody, look, the most common questions, am I going to meet the man? Am I going to meet the woman? I want to meet somebody. I just want to meet. I want to be happy. I want to have children. I want to have a nice house. I think, oh my God, they're driving me mental. Okay? First, you have to be ready.
Right.
So when you came from New Zealand to Australia, you called me.
Yeah.
I told you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked you, are you prepared to hear the truth? And you said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought, well, this one's a little bitch, you know. But,
not at all.
But
no.
Anyway, when you came and I sat you down, I said, remember, Barbara, that things take time and you've just moved to a new country and you can't expect to have everything in 5 seconds. It doesn't work that way. Okay?
Yeah.
Everything takes, it's like building a house, and Rome wasn't built in a day. And until you focus on building yourself and being grounded and knowing who you are and loving yourself, nothing will change.
And that's interesting too, because if my listeners can resonate, I think you're either in one or two camps. You're either into this stuff or you're not. Now, take it from me, I was someone that wasn't into this stuff, and it's been a beautiful thing with my animals. It's really helped me, be able to connect with them. And we all find different ways when we grieve. But something that I would like to share with you, because I think a few of you could resonate with this, is when you get a reading, you see these things and some of them are nice, some of them are not so nice. But the nice things you think, oh, I can't wait, or I get a little bit excited. And then 5 years down the track, nothing's happened. And you're like, hey, what's I think that's a common thing too. When people do reach out for a spiritual guidance.
Yes.
They can easily go, oh, well, this hasn't happened yet. Do you find that that's a common thing sometimes?
Yes. Well, look, like I said, some things happen quickly and some things could take time. And sometimes we go back into a slump. All right? So when you come for a reading, I'm giving you the script. This is what's ahead. This is what you have to do. Remember, no one can make you happy but yourself. Nobody can. And we all go through trauma. Some people don't want to let go of the past. Some people carry being a victim because that's all they know. Unless you're prepared to change you and fix you, because you can't fix anybody. You can't. We try to fix everybody. We try to please everybody. It doesn't work. Fix yourself and move on. Okay? Because you find that people draw off from you emotionally. And this is what I had to learn. People were ringing me all the time, sending me messages, do you know where I put my handbag? I had money, I don't know where I put it. Oh, yes. And
where's my handbag?
Where's my handbag? I had some money, I don't know where I put it in the house. I think, and you know what? I've had to learn to shut off from the people and put a board. I thought I was going crazy.
I'm not surprised.
I thought I was going crazy. I would go outside barefooted and I just relaxed because I thought, I can't take this. I just can't. I couldn't handle it. At one stage, I wanted to stop readings because people want you to solve their problems continually. So this is where you have to cut off. And that's with anything in life. And they're always ready to blame you. So if something happens, I'll tell you a story about this guy. He comes in and he says to me, am I going to get a job? And I said, well, how old are you? I'm 45. Do you want to work? No. Well, there's your answer. Am I going to get a job? No. Do you want to work? No. Why should I work? But I've got no life. Make a life. Okay, you're 45 years old. You're healthy. Get out there and find a job and make a life. No.
Yeah.
So they're ready to blame you.
Right. So some people with your abilities and stuff come to you for many different reasons, but one of the reasons is to get answers or for you to tell them what to do. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I don't tell anybody what to do because we have a choice. When you come from a reading and you're not happy with what I've said, you have free will. Okay, you can change all that. You can throw it away. You can do what you like.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, every reading is different.
Yeah.
And then some people go to another person, another reader, another medium, another psychic, whatever. And then on that day, they say, oh, your reading was different to hers, or you know what, she wasn't good, you're much better. I don't like that because the reading is what it is
On that day.
On that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right? And it, like I said, you could be disappointed.
Yeah.
And you could make people happy because people want to change.
Yeah. It's such a powerful gift. And I know as an author of 2 published books, so your first book was called I Believe in You.
Yes, that was about the journey. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And then this book actually was just published in 2022 in October. I had a big book launch and it's called More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cover now and it's such a beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful book.
Thank you.
So is this something that you'd always wanted to do with both of your books, is write a book?
Yes. Well, the first one I wrote just when Mum passed away. I was in the middle of writing it, but I finished it. And it was about the journey. So it talks about the journey. And then 12 months later, I just had to do another one. But this actually took me longer. This was 4 years in the making. So it's a more nitty-gritty book. It's more the in-depth. Okay, so I talk about New York City, how I got there, how I got to do readings in New York. I talk about my spiritual journeys, my travels, how I got to go to a witch doctor in Africa, how I did shamanic healing in Peru, China, the Great Wall, and all the experiences that I had in Egypt, India, being on the Ganges. So I talk about all this, what I as a medium had witnessed with myself, okay, experienced with my mediumship ability. So I talk about that, the feeling, how I astral travelled. In Peru, how I was staying in Cusco. We just been to the, what's it called? Machu Picchu. We come back and I see our hotel all barricaded off. There were people digging because they just found a lost city. I thought out of all the hotels in Peru, it's right outside mine. So this is what I'm talking about. The experiences as a medium, what I felt, what I went through, it's very, very interesting. I also talk about readings, the good and the bad, because you've got to talk about both.
Yeah.
Okay. The people that were disappointed and told me I was wrong and it actually happened what I'd said.
Yeah.
The people that I couldn't help, the people that came here that were very ill. So there's a story about a young girl here that she had MS. Now, how can I read for someone that's got MS and that's not on her last years? And this was something that I just couldn't do. So I made fun. We had fun. I asked her what her favourite pop group was and I loved her even more. She said ABBA. So we danced. And then I saw her before her death. So I write about that. A reading was not going to help her because it would have been very, very confronting. What am I going to say? You can't tell someone, you've only got a few years to left. I don't do those types of reading. I leave that to the big man upstairs.
Yeah.
All right. But the book talks about everything. So I talk about the chakras. I talk about how I as a medium practice meditation daily, how I need to clear my mind, what I do. So I'm a very simple person. I don't do anything that's out of this world. I just lead a very simple, normal life, as so to speak. I talk about the journey every day, how I deal with clients, how some clients I could just sometimes scream, the emotion, what I've taught myself being a medium and what I've gained from being a medium, because not only have I learnt a lot, okay, through other people, but through my clients, it's been a lesson, and you never stop learning.
Yeah.
So I think, aren't I such a lucky girl to have learned something different from a client that comes to me? Different clients every day from all walks of life. Yes.
It's a blessing, isn't it?
It's a blessing, yes. So that's why I wrote the book. So it starts off as a journey, and it tells you where the journey ends. So it's 280 pages, and they can purchase it from my website, my actual Facebook page, positiveintentions.com. And yes, so they can just message me. And if you live overseas, of course, the postage is a bit dearer, but all they have to do is message me, and they can purchase the book only through me.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'll put all the links and stuff in the show notes. But it's, your life as a medium and just shares all the ups and downs and what's brought you to this point.
Yes, and I talk about everything. So in the book, there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, there is something for everyone. And because there's a lot of information there, people have had to read it twice. And they've always taken something out of it. But I've had a lot of positive feedback from it, and it's made me even more proud. So that's 4 years of about 200,000 words has been worth it.
And it's a lot to see your thoughts and feelings and inner work and outer work in a book. It must be...
I call it my Oscar.
Yeah.
I call the book my Oscar. Okay, there's something I wanted to achieve, and with a little golden Emmy, it is my books. And of course, it's my clients, because if they did not support me, I would not be here today. So I am so grateful for the people that have took their trust in me. They've put their trust in me to help them. If it wasn't for them, I would be nowhere. So they, I think, wow, aren't I a lucky girl?
Also though, I hear and I've seen, because I met you a couple of times now, I see the belief that you have in yourself, and you're very rare. That just came out, so that must be, that's true. Raw and honest, and you say, you shared with me the journey and how much hard work and you kept going, and there were some days that you wanted to give up.
Yes.
I love that you bring the humanness to this.
Yes, but it's true. It's true.
But people don't talk about it.
No, they don't. But I'm a human being, and I'm real.
Yeah.
And I have feelings too. So if one of my clients has passed away, I cry.
Yeah.
If one of my clients come to me, I don't show that emotion now when I'm reading for them, but they have cancer, I'm crying inside. And when they go, I cry, because it's not the end of their life. It's the end of their physical life here. Yeah. And I wish that they could live forever, and how brave they are. They are so brave. And that's what I take from them. And I think, stop whinging about your bloody grey roots coming out of your hair. Okay. So this is what I mean. I'm learning something every day. But being real, at some days, I think I just want to close the door. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want everyone to leave me alone.
I think a lot of us can resonate with that, though.
Yes, because you know what? You do need a break, and you do take on other people's energies. So I always use my, singing bowl or my sage. I think it's very important that we do cleanse, not just me, everybody. And I mention those techniques in the book and what I do, what I've learned of the other medium that she told me to do. So I do techniques there. I talk about homes that I had to visit, that this guy called me and said he didn't believe in that. And where's that woman that sees dead people? And I thought, who's this? I don't believe in this crap. He said S-H-I-T, okay?
Yeah.
But I've learned. And I've learned also that, people that were skeptical are non-skeptical now. And some people just don't believe. And they don't have to, but that's okay. I think it's different when you actually get to meet the person, Barbara. See, I had this young guy that came to me, and he never believed in it, but he just came to see. He said, I want to come. And I said, fine. Then he went and told his mother. Now, he was a 28-year-old man, so he wasn't a baby, and he said, Mum, you have to go. He said, I was a non-believer, but now I believe, because she told me things that nobody would have known, and you just can't make this stuff up. Yeah.
That's interesting. And, I think there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in... we're not going to go into all the... This is a beautiful podcast today just to talk about your gifts and what you do, because, with everything that's happened in the last few years, I think people are curious to know more about their life. They want to live their best life, and they want a bit of direction to find out.
Yes, so that's the psychic side.
Yeah.
But the mediumship side is when they've lost a loved one.
Yeah.
And they didn't have closure. So say, for instance, your cousin was very ill and you were flying to New Zealand, you didn't make it, and you felt bad and you're carrying that guilt, and some of us do. They come here and it's okay, because maybe that wasn't meant to be, that you had to see them before they passed away. You just weren't meant to see them.
Yeah.
But they want closure, and this is why they come. Are they okay? Tell them I love them. They're hearing you anyway. You don't have to come to me. Do you love them? You talk to them, because they do listen. They do listen.
Yeah, and it's also all beings. So obviously with animals, you can,
What do you pick up on animals? I mean, animals have a soul too.
Yeah.
All right, animals have a soul, and they wait for us, and they know that we love them, and they're not silly. Animals have a sixth sense. I know, you're going to start crying about your dogs. I know. Our animals are beautiful. They're precious. And anyone that says they're just a dog or a cat or a zebra, forget it. They're humans. They're part of our family. They're part of our lives. Whether they were in our lives for 2 years, whether they're in our lives for 20 years, they are part of who we are. And they help us on this earth, okay? Because they give you unconditional love.
Yeah. I still have to ask you some questions, and now I'm crying.
Well, ask me, honey bun.
Favorite? Like, obviously, do you have a preference, or do you tend to channel one more than the other? Are you more psychic clairvoyant, or are you more medium, or are you just a balance of the both?
Or whatever comes. Okay. So sometimes you might say, I want a psychic reading, and on the day, I'm just getting messages from the spirit world.
Right. Okay.
So these are the messages. I'm sorry, this is what they're telling me.
Yeah.
So that could be the reading of the day.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the psychic will come and I'm just tuning into the clairvoyance, and it just keeps on and keeps on and keeps on.
Yeah. Do you think, for people that listen to this that haven't dipped their toe in or had an experience like this before, that it can sound a little bit scary?
Yes. And I don't blame you, because we are all afraid of the not knowing, of the unknown.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are all frightened. And sometimes you don't want to hear, or you're not ready to hear, or no. Now, I will say this, and this may not be liked by the listeners. A lot of the younger people, so I get 18, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, is he the guy for me? I've been going out with him for 6 years. When you were 14, he was my childhood sweet. I understand that, dear. But you're only young.
Sorry, I actually did laugh.
Yes, but
said that.
But this is what I'm saying. They don't understand that love at 20 or 15 and love at 30, love at 40, we become different people as we get older.
Yeah.
And what you wanted at 50, what you wanted at 20, and what you're wanting at 50 is two completely different things.
Yeah.
See? Because this image of the fairy tale love, romance, meeting your soulmate, your prince, your knight in shining armour, it's a conception of what you put in your mind. Because it's there drummed into us, get married, have a family, it's lovely. Yeah. And it's a total disaster sometimes.
So when you do a reading, do you see colour? Like, I'm just really interested to know. Okay. What happens in your body?
Well, it depends on your energy. So we are all an energy field. We're all a vibration.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so vibration is you could come in here and you could just be long faced, and I think, oh my God, how am I going to read for this person? What's
my vibration? I'm gonna put her on the spot, guys. I'm gonna ask her.
Look, you're in the green today. Okay, green is about the heart chakra.
Green, okay.
Green. Okay. And I like the green, but the green is about the heart. It's about emotion. It's about feelings. All right? So I just say you're in the green. But sometimes you could be grey, which is on that day you're just not feeling well.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
Yes. And then I could just pick up that, you've had an issue with a relationship, so you could come for a reading and you might want to know about, am I going to get my job? I've put in. But on that day, it could be about a relationship issue that you haven't let go of, or a relationship issue that you're trying to fix.
Yeah.
Okay? So every reading is different.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting and it's also real. So, a psychic doesn't know everything.
So
And I'm very, very careful because you're playing with people's minds. And even when a younger person comes to me, like a 19-year-old, does your mother know? Where's your mother? Get her on the phone. I know my mother said she's been to you. But darling, do you understand what this is? They don't understand the depth of it.
From a younger person's perspective, I know at my age why I would come and see someone like you, but from a younger person's perspective, what do you see that they want?
Okay, first of all, it's boyfriends or girlfriends.
Okay,
that's number one. Then it's about mainly it's about relationships though.
Okay.
And then it's about career. Okay, and travel. It just depends on the person.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Or they could come and all it focuses on is career. But I don't want to know about career, but that's what's coming, darling. The career's coming. I'm trying to tell you something. But I love this boy. Okay, you love him. That's good. But tell me in 10 years' time if you're going to be with him because you will change.
Yeah.
So it is very hard doing readings.
Yeah. What do you do for your own self-care?
My own self-care is I go to a sauna, close that door, and I'm sitting there for 45 minutes with different lights on and I don't want to hear and just listening to music and I don't want anyone to disturb me.
Yeah.
Or I go to a magnesium bath. I'm there on my own and I'm just in this dark room. It's dark and then I meditate as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm loving it. But I meditate every morning for about half an hour.
Yeah.
At about 3:30, 4:45. I do that for half an hour and that just clears my mind because if you are carrying emotion, if you're not well, you cannot do readings. Okay, so you've got to be emotionally balanced when you're doing readings, okay, mentally balanced, and physically. You've got to take care of yourself. So you've got to make sure your diet's right, you're exercising and you're happy because that's a vibration. If you're happy and you're jolly, the person feels comfortable with you. True. If you walked into a place and it was messy and stinking, you wouldn't be comfortable.
I'd be like, what am I doing? Yeah.
Exactly. So, we give out who we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you attract what you want. So I always say to the universe, please send me some loving people that are decent human beings that I can help today.
You just said something. We all attract what we want.
Yes.
Is that the case for all of us? Or does it take some of us a while to attract what we want?
It takes, sometimes people think about manifesting, I'll manifest it, I'll imagine in the sky. Yeah, I know, but you've got to imagine you being that confident, happy, respectful, loving yourself and grateful. When you know what you want and you're secure and stable, you're not just going to pick anybody, are you?
I think she's talking to me.
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So, well, I've seen you 5 years and then I've seen you today. And the first thing that Josephine said to me was, you're a completely different person. And that's some people that was the most beautiful compliment. I'm not here for compliments. No. She's not a woman that, I tell you, won't give you compliments. And that's what I love about this. It's real. It's authentic. It's, again, people, I think, need to realise it's not coming from you. It's coming from
above. But I've noticed a difference from the first 5 years who were very lost. But, of course, you just moved to a new country. Okay?
Yeah.
And that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And settling, and, of course, you wanted everything. You can't. It's like building a house.
Listen, I'm honest about it. I'll be honest and say some people say, oh, I want everything, but I won't. Oh, I wanted everything. Yes.
Of course you do. And we all do.
Yeah.
You want everything. But you've got to build. It's like my business. I was getting one every 3 months. I was trying to build a name for myself. Okay, so friends would ask me if I could read for their friends. And I said, I'm not going to read. I'm going to have a platform, a little bit of platform. There'd be 5 people that I didn't know. They would bring me and I would start telling them who's coming.
Wow.
And that's how I got. But that took 20 years of hard devotion, work and whatever.
Casting your mind back to then and where you are now, what would you have said? Because this relies to other business owners as well. What would you have said to your younger self 20 years ago doing those platform things?
Oh, God, I was petrified.
Like hang in there?
Hang in there. Look, I was in there and then, oh, no. You keep getting a lot of no's, no. His name, I said to one lady, there's a Pete coming here. His name was Peter. I thought I've got that wrong, but his name was Pete. They used to call him Pete because then she told me, I'm sorry, but my mother's brother that died when he was 7 years old, they used to call him Pete, not Peter. As in, Pete, come here. So I thought, oh, God, keep going. Something said, don't give up, Josephine. Keep going. It doesn't matter how many times people pull you down. Keep up. Walk with your head up high. Trust in spirit. But trust in yourself, believe in yourself. And I'm so glad that I never gave up.
Oh, see? Yeah.
So you can accomplish your goals, you can follow your dreams, and I will never give up. And I will tell the listeners today is to never give up on your dreams. Every opportunity that comes to you, okay, grab it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that the final question as I wrap up all my podcasts is, what's one bit of advice or golden nugget that you would like my listeners to take away from our chat together today?
Oh, there's so many. But one thing I would like to say is to keep it simple, make life simple, don't complicate it, because the more you complicate it, the more pressure that you put on yourself, the more complicated your life is going to be. And think about today. Today we are here, not what's going to happen in 20 years' time. Okay, so a lot of women ask me, am I going to be with my husband in 20 years' time? Darling, you're married to him. He's a good man, right? He's a worker. He's a good father. Don't worry what's going to happen in 20 years' time. 20 years' time is a different thing.
Yeah.
Think about today. Today, embrace this moment. Be happy. Work on today. Work on yourself today, not where you want to be in 20 years' time. You've got to work on yourself first to where you want to be in 20 years' time. Okay, do you understand that? All right, today, let's have fun. Let's embrace, because tomorrow your whole world can change in a split second. Okay, health is wealth, but I always say emotional peace is wealth. Because when you're emotional, happy, and you like who you are, you could want for nothing more when you're healthy. We do need money to survive, because everyone asks me, am I going to win lotto? I don't predict it, and many readers get asked that, okay? I should predict it for myself. I've never won lotto in my life. I've had to work. So I don't do that.
Yeah, that's a common, funny, just not funny, but it's a
very common.
Oh, if you're so good,
yes,
predict the lotto numbers.
Yes, and I don't do that, because if I was so good, whatever they want to say, so good, would I it's not about that. I don't ask spirit, listen, Monday lotto is going to be 20 million, right? Can you give me the numbers? No. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Okay? I believe if you want to be wealthy, you make your wealth. Some people are lucky and buy a lottery ticket once in a while and they might win some money, but that is very rare. Hard work is your success. And this is what's been successful for me, is my hard work and never giving up. And of course, having support. People like you and my beautiful clients that have supported me from all over the world, I would not be sitting here today.
So it's a combination of the people that you're surrounded by, taking care of yourself emotionally and physically.
Yes, very important. And not trying to, I've also found with readings that everybody wants to fix someone in the family or a friend, or this friend's hanging off me. You can't fix everybody. You have to understand the more energy that you spend fixing someone else is you're lost. Your life's going to pass you by and you're going to think, where the hell am I?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so, my girlfriend's really down or my sister's really down. Well, that's fine, darling. I understand. You give them a bit of your sympathy. You try and help them, and then you have to learn to let go. They're not there for you to change their life. You cannot. Otherwise, they keep drawing off you.
Yeah.
Okay? You've got to fix yourself. You give them a little bit, otherwise they're going to take the whole lot of you. Okay? You're not their responsibility. We are all responsible for our own life.
Yeah, that's right. And I think too, when we look at caring for ourselves and self-care as a whole, it's all aspects. It's the food we eat, how we move our body, how we sleep, the people we talk to, the people we hang out with, the people we work with. And then this whole other component, and this is why this month I'm dedicating it to spirituality because, and I said the word because normally I actually can't say it.
That's right.
It's really important, I think, for people to feel wholesome and we all have different beliefs, which is what makes the world go round. But I really encourage you to pick up Josephine's book and have a read, because wherever you are in your life, whether you're new to this, whether you're well-versed, whether you're a believer or not believer, I think it's just a really great introduction. But it's part of your own self-care. Like this is part of our life. It's hard for me to, like, life cycle or life. And for me, and that's why I want to personally share from my heart and be honest, is I'm someone that was just so external. It was all about how I looked, the people I had around me, and I just was so desperate to be loved and have the right job and do the right thing. And that's why I got married. You do what you think people expect you to do.
That's right.
But what I had now learned to discover is, who am I? What do I want? What do I need?
Yes, but 20 years ago. So how old are you now?
42.
Okay, so you thought at 22.
Yeah.
Did you think that? Because it's a different age group. Okay, 22,
that's a really good question.
Yes. So at 22, did you think that? Because what I'm saying is at 22 and 42, that's a 20-year cycle. Yeah. You're a different completely person. So what I'm saying is, in a reading, when you're 22 and you want to marry this guy because he's the love of my life, been going out with him since I was 15, okay. But if I say to them he's not, they don't like it. Okay? Or they could marry him and then it could be a disaster. You have to remember, when you are going out with someone and you're living back home and they go back home, it's a different relationship. When you move in with someone, that's another different relationship. You think, oh my God, who's he or who's she? When you get married, it's another different relationship. And then when you have children, it's another different relationship. So there's more responsibility the deeper it goes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, are you ready for those responsibilities? Because we don't look at the big picture. We look at the picture at the time that I want to get married and it's a beautiful wedding day and I've got 4 bridesmaids. It's that fantasy. I'm a realist and I look at the realistic side of life. Okay? And you might think, but that's what I want. It could be at the time. But like I said, when you get to an older age, you want different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think having this chat just opens it up to the younger audience, because I know I do have women that are 20, 21, 22. I've got a lot of clients around that age.
Yes.
And even just having this conversation, if I was that age, even if I wasn't interested, it's planted a seed.
Yes.
Oh, what's the spiritual stuff? Or what's this thing? I had no idea. So it's just, even if they're not open, it's just a beautiful thing for them just to know that it's there.
Yes. But just remember that spirituality is a different meaning for a lot of people. So spirituality, how you see spirituality, could be completely different to how I see spirituality. Okay, so it doesn't matter what belief you have in spirituality, it's your way of spirituality. And it's a nice thing. But to me, spirituality is peace. It's the connection. It's knowing that if you don't have faith, you've got nothing, or hope. You have to have faith and believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself, faith and hope.
And hope. Just believe in yourself. Have faith, have hope. Don't listen to people. You know in your heart what is right for you. We all grow throughout life. What we wanted, like I said, at a young age, and when you're 50, when you're 60, you see life differently as you get older. Okay? And as you get older, from what I found with my clients and dealing with them, is what they wanted at 20, the big house, a lot of them have downsized. They just want to have fun. It's not about who's got the best bag or the best dress on. It's about being together, because life is so short. So quality time with the people that you love is very, very important. Okay? So to me, we don't have that quality time like we used to. Make time for a coffee with your friend. Everyone's texting these days. Everyone's ringing everybody. Nobody's got time. And it's very, very sad. So make time. Make time to nurture yourself. Spend time for yourself and spoil yourself. But make time to be with friends. It doesn't have to be 20 friends. It could be just a good friend that you haven't seen in a few months. It's very important to make time, because time is precious. And especially when you're getting older, you noticed how precious it really is.
Mm.
So thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to get hold of me, it's Positive Intentions. It's got a big red rose. And that's my Facebook page. They can message me through that. All right, so they can do that. And I do message people when I get time. And I do my readings also. So my readings are an hour. And if they want to contact me, they can contact me through my Facebook page.
Excellent. And you do readings, overseas readings, for people that live overseas as well?
Yes, I do a lot in New Zealand. I do them over the phone normally. Now, I need to talk about that too. Phone readings are very difficult for me because with the technical problems, the difficulties, sometimes it cuts in and out. Sometimes their battery goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's interference from people that are knocking or people in the house, and I tell them you need to be very, very quiet. I don't really like phone readings. I prefer face-to-face.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that can't always be the case. So I always ask them these questions before they book.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll put all your details in the notes so people can reach out, and they can also contact me and I can pass their details on as well.
Just remember, men and women do come. So I get a lot more men now that come for a reading, and I get people from all walks of life. Yes, and that's great because it's a very interesting world out there. All right, thank you, Barbara, and have a wonderful day. And thank you to the listeners. I hope that I've been able to help them in some way.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback. So guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbaraThompson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you. And I'll catch you soon. Bye!